exactly what they were doing. And then again, the masks drove the Spanish flu. Just, they knew how to ignite that fire, how to throw the flame in the fire.
Does Fauci, or any of the others have any financial interest in these flu vaccines? And the same question with regard to the COVID vaccines. Who has financial interest other than Big Pharma that may be involved in government regulation or universities or elsewhere that have an interest in promoting the flu vaccine and the COVID vaccine?
Yes, the CDC. The CDC makes most of its money mandating these vaccines around the world. That's why the last slide I showed you was how to end this by, closing those doors and stopping that advisory council on immunization practices. So that
Taubenberger wants to develop a universal vaccine that protects against the pandemic strain that he resurrected. It's like the movie Mission Impossible, where you have Chimera and Bellerophon. He resurrected the virus, and now he's on a 15-year mission to come up with a vaccine against the thing he resurrected. This is Jeffrey Taubenberger. But again, in the news today, the news cycles about Peter Daszak, Wuhan, SARS-CoV-2, and gain of function. That is the smokescreen. The deadliest virus on Earth is H1N1 from Brevik Mission, Alaska, from the permafrost that Jeffrey Taubenberger resurrected. But Dr. Kawaoka at University of Wisconsin, and Jason, you can pull up an article in the Independent. If you type Independent, Dr. Kawaoka, Kawaoka, actually it's in my presentation at the end. This article explains, and Google fellow Ray Kurzweil, fellow at Google, came out and wrote an editorial in the New York Times with Bill Joy, the founder of Sun, and said, what are these guys doing? You can't do this. You can't resurrect the deadliest virus on Earth. And it turns out Kawaoka's lab is BSL-2. I think my dentist's office is BSL-2, right?
What's so BSL-2?
Biosafety level 2. And importantly, when those deadly cancer mouse viruses were spreading around, they said unintended escape of a biosafety level 2 variant or virus. And again, you grow the virus in the cell line. They carry them in their pockets. I used to do that. Take the vial, it's in liquid nitrogen. You're carrying it's not an unintended release. They ship them around the world so everybody else can study.
And they talk about it. They talk about it openly. They say one of their biggest fears is that the stuff they work on comes out on the fabric of somebody who is working on it. They tell you that's their biggest fear, is somebody takes their work home with them. Judy, probably heard it every week, I'm sure.
And that's
Jason,
who died, our families. That's who got infected, the lab workers. Why did Melinda Gates say, let's just get the healthcare workers? It's called nosocomial spread. Half my lab, half my friends are dead. Thank God I worked in a biosafety level 3 with HIV.
Do we have another moment, Larry, or to show a little
bit
more evidence?
And we're going to pick it up next week too. But I guess what we're seeing here, to put in layman's terms, or I say sometimes claimant's terms, is a much bigger scandal here, for lack of a better word.
And it's about to get bigger.
And it shows the pattern and practice and the potential for future pandemics, which now apparently we've got 2 going parallel. Okay. An interesting observation. I won't name the name of my doctor. He's a very fine doctor, high level. He was telling me at the time period that all these hospitalizations were occurring, that it was not unusual that there were no hospital beds, that every single year, as a result of influenza, the same amount of hospital beds were being occupied. And it was a misstatement. And he's left of center, by the way. It was a misstatement to be saying that it was all due to COVID-19. So that tends to support, just in a general sense, what you're saying, John, is that we have 2 pandemics that are going on at the same time. One which is unaddressed,
right?
And then therefore we need to delve deeper into Fauci's
Right.
culpability and other
Why?
people's culpability for that, and why are they now focusing more on China, first trying to deny it, but now the facts are coming out about their own involvement as
You
well.
got it. You got it. Exactly right. China and Wuhan, the honest truth is that is the distraction. And I couldn't understand, why wouldn't they just tell people, hey, listen, we've got two things going on. You have to get tested. And if you have this, the medicine is this. And if you have that, the medicine is that. What was so wrong with that? Why would they just shut up about one of the viruses? And the reason goes back to this 2005 resurrection by Taubenberger and the fact that the United States resurrected it. And what Dr. Judy said is, yes, we shipped it around the world, but we also published the genome on GenBank. And what that means is that Iran, I mean, a gene sequencer, if you have a gene sequencing machine, I mean, it just has 4 ingredients, just like a printer. It's like, yellow, magenta, cyan, and black. A gene sequencer just has adenine, guanine, tryptosine, right? I mean, it's just 4 ingredients to make DNA. And you tell it what you want, and you come back 19 hours later, and you got a little thing of that. Well, we published it. We published it on GenBank, which means Iran has it, China has it, everybody has it.
Well,
You don't need a vial from Fauci. You just need to go to GenBank, type it in, and enter it into your sequencer, and come back in 21 hours, and you got a little bit of stuff right there. Yeah. That's how it works.